Hey everybody, it's the Modern Native. So today I'm going to be showing everybody how I make my Dakota Fire Hole. I'm also in the middle of getting some bug dope going. Super buggy right now, and it's killing me. So I got some chunks of pine sap off the red pine trees, and I put it in this citronella candle container, and I'm lighting it up so that way it smokes and gets some of that tar smoke around me. Just hear the buzzing of it. The sound alone drives me insane. Alright. So I'm hoping this will work this time. It went out on me. But I'm going to be making a Dakota Fire Hole. I'm going to show you guys how I make it, some modifications that I do to it, and the history and the thought process behind it. So first off, the history. So I'm sure by now, dime a dozen, everybody has seen the Dakota Fire Hole in action on YouTube somewhere. 90% of the time, the person who's doing it either doesn't know or doesn't share where it comes from. Now, the Dakota Fire Hole is dug into the ground as a chimney hole, pretty much, and it is nearly smokeless if you do it right. It also contains the heat, focuses it, so it's kind of like a rocket stove, and it just makes a much nicer, cleaner burn on the fire, and you are able to have less smoke, safer fire, because it's not at risk of getting blown around. The embers don't throw as high, and you end up using more of your fuel, so it's more efficient. So the history of it, it comes from the natives, the Native Americans, the Dakotas, obviously. It's in the name, and that's about as far as people know. Now, the reason they did this is the fact that they were out on the open plains and the grassy plains, and it was really high wind. So having the fire in the ground in a hole made it so that way it didn't get blown around when a giant gust of wind came through, and it wouldn't set grass prairies on fire and burn out their whole village. So, obviously, benefit number one there. But it also reduced the smoke, which meant that warring tribes, or the cavalry, couldn't find them because they couldn't follow their smoke trail. And at night, they couldn't see the bright light because all it took was a couple of things around it, even just a little rock circle, and the light wouldn't escape camp. So you'd be able to accomplish everything that you needed from a fire without any sign that you actually had one. It also made it more efficient because down in the grassy plains, there wasn't a ton of wood. So they were able to burn less. So that's the history lesson. Oh, that's the history lesson on Dakota Fire Hole. Now I got the spot prepped up for it, and I'm gonna make one. Sorry that it's might get a little dim. I'm gonna accomplish this as fast as I can. So I'm also going to include the modification that I have for it. So you see the clear out circle I made for it. I also made 2 sticks that I pointed out towards the end. Didn't need to be all clean and nice. And I'm going to position it like this for 2 vent holes instead of 1, because later on I can take a rock and plug one or both holes to either make a smoke fire to get rid of the bugs, or to reduce the heat if the fire starts getting hot. So there's that. So the first thing I'm going to do, and hopefully the ground is soft enough, it's about a foot or so back. I'm going to go at an angle and pound this in there. So I measured it about there with the angle, puts it like that. Now the reason I do the smaller hole first, because when you're trying to do it, sometimes they can make it collapse. And with the softer soil that I'm dealing with, I want to avoid that. Because what I'm going to do is keep it there until I'm done. Because that will keep the tunnel from collapsing. And let me know when I'm done. Hey Robert, how's it going? Okay. All right, so I covered the history and the origin. So there's a few different styles. There's one like this where it's dug in the ground. And, well, okay, so start from simple. There's the one where it's hole in the ground and it's one tunnel dug in, where you dig the bigger hole and then the smaller hole. Traditional, useful, simple, nice and easy. But when it comes to getting more flow, you put in a second port. There's really deep ones that'll last a long time. Then there's small ones that won't last as long because the soil will degrade and everything else. And then there's something called, pretty sure they call it a plow fire. And that's where it's like a divot and you just cut a divot one way and it goes up so where the airflow goes. So the air will go underneath the fire will burn clean. It's like a surface Dakota hole, same concept without having to dig as far. But I like the nice long-term one. Give me 1 second. There we go. So, got my handy dandy survival shovel, the extended handle. That rock will come handy. So what I like to do right from the start is always to cut a nice deep root cap, because the roots always come out like a pain in the ass. So if you cut and you wedge, cut and you wedge, you just work your way around. And eventually, it'll lift out. Look at that. Great rock. And you lift out the whole root cap. Then we're going to set that. So then I just stab and rotate. And then I'm going to pile this on the back side where the ports are going to be. Because the cooler I can make the openings, the cooler the air will be around it. Which means the higher the temperature differential will be between the fire and the air ports, cold air will want to go in, hot air will want to come up. It'll get a stronger cycle. So the cooler you can make this area, the better. So obviously I covered some of the benefits of a Dakota hole, is where you can use it to cover your smoke, to hide your smoke so that way you produce less. So you can hide your signature in the woods. Also your light pollution. It can help save your night vision, spook animals less, and is a more efficient use for your wood. Giggity. But when it comes down to it, there's some downsides to it as well. And I'll get the light to fix this problem. There. I see you. Sorry, I planned on having this done sooner, but things are what things are. It happened. Good. Anyway. So, there is a downside to a Dakota hole. And that is, it doesn't throw as much heat outward. So, it's actually really good for the summer, bad for the winter, for sure. In comparison to a surface fire, you don't get any heat. So, that's the main downside. Also, sometimes, and this is just kind of like a personal observation, not something researched or quantified, sometimes it seems like you go through a lot more wood because it is so efficient and it burns so hot, the wood just disappears. And it would make sense. But that's where you got to use wholer chunks, as in don't split wood, but cut smaller pieces of log. Oh, excuse me. And I like to dig mine a little deeper. All right, goodness. And that's also one of the things I like is can't find rocks for a fire circle? Dig a Dakota hole. You'll find rocks. Also, one risk you run is root fires. So you got to try to clean all the roots out that you can, so that way it doesn't start a root burn that'll go up. Because a root fire can travel hundreds of yards before ever breaking the surface again. What's going on, Rocky Mountain Prospecting? I can see you, but sorry. trying to show this, and I'm trying to condense it as close as possible, but I'm actually doing it. Oh yeah, I got you, Rocky Mountain Prospecting. And one reason the Dakota Fire Hole is my favorite is because of the joke. It's my wife's name. So I get to be able to say the joke anytime I want to. I gotta stuff some wood into Dakota's hot hole. It's my favorite joke. But it's very situational, so I've got to create the situation every time. And honestly, you'll make your life so much easier if you just worry about loosening up the dirt long before you think about scooping it. Unless it's clay mud pack, and then it is just easier to take it out in sections. Where I dug the latrine, that's sort of what happened. Once I got down to a certain layer, I hit this hard pan, and it just came out in clay chunks. But Rocky Mountain Life Prospecting, just thinking about it, you could make a Dakota Fire Hole with the rocks. You just have to pack around some mud around it. Or some clay. And with your rivers, you got clay. And what I always like to do is I like to spread a layer of dirt around the top, all the way around. Unless I'm putting rocks, like in the front's going to be rocks, dirt around the back. So that way, anything that does pop up, or I can take a log and put it across and let it burn down and not be scared, because this will help prevent fires. Oh, my bad, Rocky. Sorry about that. Or not my bad, but yeah, sorry. Mm-hmm. 'Sometimes the roots get in the way and it keeps knocking the soil off, so it's hard to scoop. Three five one Cleveland. How's it going? Sorry I didn't see you. All right, so I got it dug down. I feel like it's far enough. Gonna finish pounding the sticks in to see where they pop out. Here we go. So after it breaks free, you work it back and forth till it comes out cleanly. Then you look for the light. And there it is. Oh. And because I piled the dirt up here to try to make it cooler, I've got to dig it out so that way it doesn't refill. You take a cross stick and hold it back, make a little mini dam, hold back all the dirt. There you go. A 2-port Dakota hole. And it's perfect because one is a little higher than the other. And they both stay under the root line. So it's perfect. What's going on, belt loop? I appreciate that. I just finished up doing my Dakota Fire Hole, and I'm about to do a close-up to show everybody. But yeah. Awesome, 351. So let me more settings, camera. Sorry, I kind of narrate this when I do it. So that is the Dakota hole. There's your hole. There's the first port right there. The second port is right there. I love you too, baby. Sorry I was on this during your lunch, but I love you. Hope you have a good night. I'll talk to you on your break. So there's the other porthole. And oh my God, the bugs are bad. So the one hole comes out there. The other one comes out there. And that is your modified Dakota Fire Hole. And then I don't have this on the stand anymore, so it is going to shake. I apologize. So then what I would do is I'm just going to pull this stuff back. And then I'll line these rocks I pulled out. I'll have to find some other rocks. There's one that's in the middle of the spot where I want to set up camp. This is a part of the move. I'm remaking camp, moving to a different spot. It's not that far from where we are now, but so that's the idea. I got to get more rocks. And then it's going to wrap around. It's going to be buried by dirt, and that makes it safer. Eating alive. So there we go. So let me switch the camera. God damn it. My bad, guys. Eating alive, eating alive. Ow, 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 ow. Eating alive. Go away, camera. Thank you. Alrighty, everybody. Here we are. Thumb off the face. There you go. Hiya. So I have a challenge for you. for me. I don't have a fire going, so I am getting attacked. But I have a challenge for you guys. Just showed you how to do a Dakota Fire Hole. I showed you guys the thoughts, the process, and the idea, how to do it, and how I do a couple of modifications to it. Now I have a challenge for you. Now, Pat, I know you don't have a YouTube, but you can put this on Facebook, because I know you do your videos there. I want you guys to go out by the end of this weekend and go and make a Dakota Fire Hole and show me your modifications or how you wanted to do it and your style. That's my challenge for you. And upload it on YouTube, upload it on Instagram, upload it on Facebook, whatever else. And in the comment section below, put the link for it and share it. Sorry. So that's my challenge for you. Go and make your own Dakota Fire Hole and share it with us here. Put it down in the comments. We'd love to see it, and I want to see what everybody's version is. And then we'll compare notes, and I'll talk about your guys' stuff. And if I can figure out how to do it, I'll probably have Tasha help me. We'll screen share your guys' Dakota Fire Holes, and we'll talk about them. Not critically, but just like, share what you guys did, because I like the challenge. I like the fact that people would do something when I challenge them. Even something as simple as go make a fire. Now, that was my plan. I was going to make a fire in it, but I'll do that tomorrow. Because, goddamn, I got to go make a fire over there, and I'm only making one tonight. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. This is a short one. I'm doing another one in a minute. So until next time, get out there, be a native, and go beast. Boom. Boom.